Hey guys, what's up? It's Travis Britt with SOCEPREP.com, where you get all your resources for the statewide officer certification exam, whether you're in the basic recruit training program or you want to transfer your certification from out of state to the beautiful state of Florida, right? SOCEPREP.com, 20 hours of direct instruction, just like these videos where we go into detail about the benchmarks that you're going to be quizzed on at Pearson VUE, right? We've got a practice test at the end. That's what you're looking at right here. It's got thousands of questions. Gives you a random 200, just like the day that you're going to get when you sit down at Pearson VUE. I've been getting a lot of reports from a lot of students that are saying thank you, because the averages that they got on the practice test were the exact score they got on the Pearson VUE when they sat, right? So, guys, the proof's in the pudding, right? I took the benchmarks, broke them down Barney style, transfer the knowledge to you, and people are going and they're passing the test. So sign up at SOCEPREP.com. If you don't have any money, that's fine too. I'll still help you out. Go check me out, SOCEPREP.com. Got free guided notes, 17 pages of free guided notes, which is a study guide. You can get through your books, Basic Recruit Training Program volume and your High Liability volume, and you can answer those questions. It'll quiz you up and see if you're ready. It's going to take a lot more time, going to be a lot more work, but if you're broke, that's what you got to do, right? Still want to help you out, though. So with that being said, question 1, 200 says, what rights are constitutionally protected in the 8th Amendment, right? So automatically, I know I got a Bill of Rights question, right? Bill of Rights are going to be the first 10 amendments in the Constitution. An amendment is a change, right? Or an addition, right? So with that being said, it's the first 10 amendments in the Constitution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bill of Rights. Why is this going to be extremely important? Guys, but if you're locking people up and you don't understand the Bill of Rights, then you are a tyrant, right? And what should we do with tyrants? We should remove them, right? However you see fit, right? So with that being said, what rights are constitutionally protected in the 8th Amendment? Guys, Governor DeSantis has been pushing out civics education across the state. That test is going to have civics questions on it, right? This is a civics type question. Unfortunately, a lot of states don't push civics out, right? Because they don't think it's that important. They'd rather talk about, not even going to go there and get political. But with that being said, you need to understand the Constitution, right? You need to understand the Constitution. So what rights are constitutionally protected in the 8th Amendment? The 8th Amendment, right? A says it prohibits excessive bail or fines and cruel and unusual punishment. Let's say I'm not absolutely certain whether or not I want to keep it or scratch it, so I'm just going to hold on to it, right? Because I'm not sure. And that's what we do, right? We eliminate answer choices that we know are absolutely not the correct answer. We hold on to them if we have a good feeling about them, right? Or if we don't know, right? We still call them a contender. We don't scratch them off the board yet because we don't want to scratch good answers off the board or correct answers off the board. B says it guarantees the right to be informed of the nature of the charges, receive counsel, undergo a speedy and public trial, the right to confront witnesses and face an impartial trial. That sounds like a lot of due process rights. Oh man, it sounds pretty good. I'm not sure if it's the 8th Amendment though, so what am I going to do? I am going to hold on to it as well because I'm not absolutely certain, right? I am, but let's say you're not, right? I want to illustrate that you can still get these questions right if you use your process elimination, keep it or scratch it, narrow it down to as little as possible, and you pick the one that you like the most, right? So C says it prohibits compelled self-incrimination, double jeopardy, requires grand jury indictment for capital crimes, and defines eminent domain, right? There's a lot of fancy talk for saying the government can't force you to rat on yourself. So which amendment protects that? I know for a fact that's going to be the 5th Amendment. Let's say you did remember that, right? And the 5th Amendment says, I don't have to talk to you. I want the fifth, right? Like the Chappelle skit. The 5th means you don't want to talk about it, right? You Mark McGuire in front of Congress. You don't want to talk about it. You Barry Bonds in front of Congress. You don't want to talk about it. What do you plead? Plead the 5th because you're not required to rat on yourself. You're not required to self-incriminate. So that's 5th. And they're asking us to find what, guys? The 8th. So we're going to scratch that off the board. So far we've scratched one, right? Our chances are going up, right? So we see our odds go up every time we can scratch one off the board. That's a good thing. D says it protects the freedom of speech, press, petition, peaceful assembly, and religion. And guys, this is one that everybody's probably going to recognize. We're going to scratch that one off the board as well because it's which amendment? It's not the 8th. It's the 1st and the protections that are inside of it, right? So freedom of speech, press, petition, peaceful assembly, and religion, right? Everything that comes out of your mouth and your expressions are protected under the First Amendment, and whoever or whatever you want to worship, whether or not it's a spaghetti monster god or whatever, it's your business, right? So we're going to scratch that as well. So we've narrowed it down to a 50% chance, right, of getting this correct. We narrowed it down to a 50% chance of getting this correct. It protects freedom of speech, press, petition, peaceful assembly. We're going to scratch that. So we're back up to looking at A and B. That was our contenders that we were going to hold on to see where we fall, right? So I'm going to reread the question. I'm going to reread my answer choices. I'm going to make a decision, right? An informed decision. And after I make that decision, I'm going to pick it, I'm going to stick it, and I'm going to move on because I don't want to waste any more time on this question, right? I want to give it the best shot as possible. But after I've made my decision, I have made my decision. I'm not going to second guess myself, right? So what rights are constitutionally protected under the 8th Amendment? The 8th Amendment, it prohibits excessive bail or fines or cruel and unusual punishment. What protects you from being tarred and feathered? What protects you from being lashed out in public with a cane pole to embarrass you, right? That sounds cruel and unusual, right? Why do a lot of people argue that the death penalty is cruel and unusual? They're trying to say that it violates people's 8th Amendment right. I just gave the answer away. So A is going to be your answer, guys. It prohibits excessive bail or fines, right? What does that mean? You get locked up for jaywalking and they set your bond at $1 million. Do you have $1 million cash, right? Do you want to give it to the government to get out of jail, right? I don't want to do that. I'm going to have to sit my butt in jail, right? I don't want to do that. And it's unreasonable. It's excessive bail or fine. You're using petty police work to keep me in prison, to lock me up, right? There's no due process in that, right? So they're saying no excessive bail or fines. It has to be commensurate with the charges, right? Jaywalking, if I get locked up for that, what should my bond be? It should be a signature bond, right? Or a very low amount of money, right? If I'm the type of person that'll come to court. It prohibits excessive bail or fines, cruel and unusual punishment. I know that's the 8th Amendment. I'm feeling pretty daggone good about it. We're going to pick it, we're going to stick it, and we're going to move on. Guys, make sure you understand Amendments 1 through 10 for sure. Make sure that you are aware with the Reconstruction Amendments. Make sure you are aware with the 14th Amendment, namely, right? Because there's a due process clause in the 14th Amendment. It defines citizenship. And the reason I said 13, 14, 15 is because to understand what the 14th Amendment's about, you have to understand the time frame where it came from. It came from around Reconstruction or after the Civil War. We had devastated the country, freed the slaves. We had to figure out a way to try to start making things right. Right, because it was a really jacked up situation. So the 14th situation is going to define citizenship, and it's going to give equal protection under the law, right? And we know that's not going to happen in the South. Going to have Jim Crow laws, but it sounded good on the books, right? We put it on the books. It was on the books. It was on the books, and it's going to, we're trying to get it right. So the 14th Amendment, the due process clause that defines citizenship, right? Law of blood, law of soil, right? So with that being said, make sure you understand the Bill of Rights 1 through 10. Make sure you understand 14 for sure. All right, 14 for sure. So with that being said, guys, we picked it, we sticked it. We're gonna move on. We're gonna come check us out at SOCEPrep.com. We're gonna get our free guided notes, 17 pages of guided notes. We're gonna sign up for a subscription course. Makes sense, right? Saves me time, right? It's gonna take away this anxiety. Right, the course is a lot cheaper than it is to sit down and take the test at Pearson VUE. So I don't know why you'd waste any time, put that anxiety on you. Just knock it out the first time. Get your study plan together. Go sit down at Pearson VUE and knock it out, one and done. That's the way I did it. It's the way you should do it, right? So with that being said, check me out at SOCEPrep.com, SOCEPrep.com, SOCEPrep.com. Thank you, guys, and out.